gods of darkness, breeders of chaos, come forth and take possession of this vile world. This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 127, Spotlight on The Gate.
Superman.
Hello and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 127, where we will be casting our spotlight on the 1987 classic, maybe, The Gate. However, before we do that, we got a bit of preamble and all that sort of nonsense to be getting on with. I am your host, Damien Hicks, and as ever, I am joined by
Paul Hawkins
and
Brett Summers.
Cool. So, how's our fortnight been? Have we been, not the game, how's our past 2 weeks been? How have we done anything exciting? Let's not go on straight onto what we've done telly-wise. Let's chew the fat and see if we've done anything cool.
I've played a lot of Fortnite with Connor. Not as much as he has. He's like level 160.
Right. Is it misty in here? Or is it my glasses filthy?
No, it's not that misty, no.
No, it's my glass. I can barely see you.
Can you play Misty for me?
Yeah, so... Yeah,
What level are you? What level are you?
I'm like 59 or something.
Is that good or is that like, do you suck?
No, it's just he plays it a lot more than me.
But does that mean you suck or does that mean he's really good?
No. Often we play duos. And yeah, we win a few times. It's just all a bit weird now because they always introduce like new weapons and stuff like that.
Well, there's new seasons, aren't there? I've learned that at school.
Yeah, but it's really over the top Marvel weapons now. So
everyone got an Infinity Gauntlet and just wiping everyone
it's
out.
not Infinity Gauntlet, but you got Iron Man's, you got War Machines, gauntlets, and all this kind of stuff. If you get those, then you're pretty much sorted.
Fair enough.
But other than that, not much. Dog sitting.
Oh yeah, that was my dog. Yeah.
It was your dog.
Yeah.
Hope it was your dog. Sarah didn't just bring some random dog in.
Is that what they call it nowadays?
Yeah. Played a bit of music with a friend of mine. But other than that, no, Rain stopped play for most of the time.
Fair enough.
Boring life then, really.
Thanks, Damien.
All right.
I just go home and drown my sorrows or something. Not that I've got any alcohol at home.
That's all right. Nice glass of water.
That would do it.
Southern water.
That's just what I need with all the rain. It's probably like full of sewage or something where it's come back up again because all the drains are overflowing.
Peckham turd. But no, I went to the cinema.
Ooh, exciting times.
And then last weekend I helped run a massive jiu-jitsu competition. I wasn't competing. I was doing all the organising and stuff. And
did
that
you
was
win?
Really cool. Well, I wasn't competing. So.
I know. You were organising it. Did you win?
Oh, yeah, I won.
Yeah.
Everything went all right. Everyone was happy. And, like, I wasn't attacked by any parents or anything or beaten up by people who were upset with what groups they were put in or whatever else. So,
Cool.
so far so good. Yeah, that's about it. And school.
School.
What about you, Damien?
Well, I mean, compared to you guys,
You've done a lot.
I've had an exciting couple of weeks. I've been to Peppa Pig World again.
Yay.
Although
Bolton's Park.
Yeah, I could say now it's
nailed down that interview yet?
Nah, she's not having a bar of it. Well, I mean, to be fair, she's in mourning, isn't she? Because of Grandpa Pig's voice is dead. So,
Daddy Pig's got the best voice.
Yeah, good boy I am.
Good boy.
But yeah, I got to stop saying Peppa Pig World because spend less and less time in Peppa Pig World and more time in the main park now. So that's cool. Sarah went on, or I convinced Sarah to go on Cyclonator, which, if you don't know, is the one that goes spins and goes like you're almost upside down, and it spins back round again.
Screw that.
She didn't like it, no.
When did that? You guys probably still go on them, but like I used to love going on all those. Then one day it became that's a bit tall, or oh that just looks a bit quicker for my neck, or something. When did what happened?
You got into your 40s.
That was before. It's way before that.
Was it? No,
Like-
I don't know because I still go on them all. There's
But it used to be
loads
like,
there that I
let
go
me
on.
go at the gate and just go running and and again, and there's no queue. Quick, go another time. Now it's like I've done it once.
I must admit, a few years ago when we went to Alton Towers, we went on Rita, the really fast ride.
Oh yeah, the
Rita?
car one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
went
I-
on Rita at Old Towns. There's a headline.
And I really did think I pulled something in my shoulder. Yeah.
The only one I'll never go on again is Space Mountain at Disney World because it pushed my head back into the headrest and I was just in pain for like weeks afterwards. So I'm not doing that again. But the rest of them,
Do you remember
fine.
years ago we went to Chessington and it was that pirate ship and I got on the end and we had an extra person in the road and when we hit the bit at the top I swung right out and back in again.
No, I don't. But
It was on the
maybe
road,
maybe that's the
yeah,
trigger.
That could have
That's-
been, yeah, that just popped in my head now. It's been I had hold of the rail still and my feet were there, but like my hips kind of swung out to the side outside the thing and back in again because they didn't realise you were supposed to have like 6 people. We had 7. Or whatever
All
it
right.
was. Yeah, that may have been it.
Yeah, that's
actually.
it. There's your
Just
answer.
unlocked my childhood trauma or teen trauma.
What else have I haven't done anything else. Don't think getting ready for Halloween.
Yeah.
If you went in the house now,
Yes.
you'd see a
We
few
did look.
skeletons
We
and
saw a
things.
few.
Yeah, Eddie the skeleton is sat at the island in the
I
kitchen.
thought your
Yeah.
slim fast plan was working brilliantly. I had my chair vandalised at school today. I don't know if you've
Oh, I
seen
saw the Facebook
social
post,
media.
yeah.
One of the students. He's not actually in my classes now anymore, but he came in. Well, it was lunchtime, and I nipped out my room for something, and I came back in. And all the kids we put things on in my room, which we'll get to what we're watching at the moment later. And he was on the computer, and I could see his sort of shoulders going, like where he was sort of laughing, and I thought, oh, it's probably what he's watching. Then I went in, and I had a big picture on the back of my chair stuck on, and it was Howard the Duck with a dark beard drawn on it, and it had Mr. Summers the Duck, and that's like a duck's got to do what a duck's got to do, or I can't remember. What
No,
the
it said
quote
no
was.
more Mr. Nice
No,
Duck. I
no
think.
more Mr. Nice Duck. That was it, and yeah, and then he signed it as well, so it was obvious it was him. But,
Not on the top set then, no.
yeah, no. And then I went, "Who's done this?" And you could see him laughing and that. And he went, "Mr. Summers, I only did it because it's your favourite film," which was interesting.
Yeah.
It's like that's a deep cut. That is a film that a lot of people probably would never have even heard of, and he's in year 9, so that puts him at about
What was that? Mid to late 80s? Howard?
86.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Someone's listened to a podcast.
Maybe so.
But yeah, so that was quite cool. And now I've put it on social media. And at the end of lunchtime, it had 4 likes. And he was like, oh my God, 4 people like it. That's great. I said, well, we'll see what it is tomorrow. So if you are listening.
Okay,
give
I'll
it a
go.
like.
What
Yeah.
is it? It's on. What
It's
is he?
on Facebook and it's on Instagram. But I'll just show him, go, look, like 30 people like it now. And he's all excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not for me. It's for the kids.
Yeah. Well, it keeps him on side, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does he want to listen to the podcast?
He probably has.
Probably has been if he, because there's no other way he'd know about.
Yeah, but the thing
Howard
is
the
as
Duck.
well is that he is like with his, he's got sort of an autism. He could be on this because like when he went, Mr. Summers, are you aware that they're bringing out a God? I remember this. He's like that they're bringing out a Godzilla. Was it -1? He goes, the original film came out in 1954 by the Kyoto Corporation and was originally
Yeah.
released then and made 565,000 yen at the box office. But that one, and it was like, whoa. Then I was like, I wish You Bet was still on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried him on numbers, shit. But stuff
Yeah.
like that, brilliant. So,
So it's no good taking him to a casino.
the search continues. Why do you work with SEN? Wow.
Yeah. That'll be why.
Not really.
Cool then. So that's the preamble of our week or
Yep.
2 weeks. What we've been watching. I'll go to Mr. Summers first because apparently you have lots.
I do. Well, Lunch Club, we finished
Lunch Club.
at school. we have finished. Oh God, what were we watching? Oh, the X-Men '97. We've gone through all that now. We've enjoyed that, and that's great. And bring on season 2. I think we spoke about that before.
Yeah, we did.
Now
we have.
we are on One Punch, the anime. Because
Okay.
you've all seen the live action one, haven't you? So I haven't seen that yet. So I'm currently we're about 5 or 6 episodes.
You mean
into the
One Piece?
One Piece.
What did he say?
Yeah,
One Punch.
I
No,
heard One Piece. How weird's that?
Yeah. Oh no, because there's One Punch Man, but it's One Piece. Yeah, 'cause we were talking about that today. But yeah, One Piece with the monkey stretchy dude who wants to be a pirate and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Not sure I'll go back to that.
it's a bit
In
bonkers.
fact, I don't even know if it has got a second season, but
I thought it.
Nothing else seems to.
no,
have.
exactly.
I thought it did because it got really good views. I actually quite
So
enjoyed
have a lot of things. Dead Boy Detective's got good reviews,
Yeah. Oh, the other one that was really good as well.
and not Lock and Key, the
yeah,
that got
the one
good
with the
reviews.
ghosts where there's been a cataclysm of some sort, and no one we didn't
Yeah.
even find out what that was.
that was good. That
Yeah, what was that called?
can't remember.
No.
Something else has just been cancelled, like in the last day or so as well. I've forgotten now what it was.
Oh Jesus, we are getting old.
Yeah.
Anyway, One Piece.
But it was because they cancelled everything. I've enjoyed it. It's a bit bonkers. The kids absolutely love it. I'm just sort of sat there thinking I'm about to have a hemorrhage because it's wow, yeah, we're gonna do that, what? Yeah, and all that. And but the story seems quite good, and because BBC iPlayer for some reason have banked on and put all their money onto One Piece, and they've got it all on iPlayer. Well, the first 250 episodes.
The first 250
So I was like,
episodes.
Because they were like, what are we going to watch next? So I said,
it's like
well,
Cities of Gold.
by the time
Yeah.
we finish this, you'll have left. Because there's I think there's 20 seasons or something so far, and I think it's still going.
Yeah, it is.
But we'll see how we do. But they're all loving it. I can watch it while I'm having my lunch, and they're all sat quietly watching it and
Fair enough.
cheering and booing whenever. But we've just got to a bit where there's a cute little dog that's guarding a shop, and its owner died, and it's fighting this big lion-y thing. And we've stopped at like.
Sure, it's not a dragon.
You still get the. There's a man with like a thing because they thought he was part of the lion, but it's separated from him now.
Oh, okay.
It's got like big white thing. It might be a dragon.
Oh,
in
don't
yellow.
encourage him.
But
Can't help it.
no, but everyone there was like an advert thing where it paused, and that's where we ended it because we'll stop there because there's 5 minutes left. We'll carry on the next one, but everyone's worried about the little dog now. And I'm guessing it lives because it'll probably go with them on the boat. But
Yeah,
you don't
on
know.
their epic adventure.
Yeah, but because there aren't that many yet. It's him, a ginger girl, and a man with green hair who's really good with swords.
Yeah.
But they're all enjoying it. I've not watched most of the anime I've ever watched have been like completed like Death Note and different Voltron and stuff that have been like full series. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then it's done. I haven't got to keep going on because it's like that Bleach. I think that's still going as well, and that's been going for like 20 years. It's like,
Yeah, I can't be done with that nonsense.
well, if you're gonna do it, just end that, then do another one, called something else where it just follows on.
Although funny, isn't it? Because he keeps going on about like Power Rangers and the other equivalent, and they're great because they've been going on for like 30,
But they
40
stop.
years.
But they stop and rename it something else. So you've got
So
jumping.
you got the
on
dinosaur
points.
one, or the
You've
probably
got, you've got
under the
different
sea one.
jumping on points, whereas this is just seems to be going on forever.
It's an epic adventure.
Oh, it is on the high seas, heading for the centre line.
Yeah.
See, it's been burned into my head. What have you been watching, Paul?
Yeah, take us
Save
away
me
from
this
this.
anime because I've got all the voices. Oh yeah. Oh.
All right,
That was Damien.
This is when they were the
Yeah, all right. Let's just stop there now. Wolves on Apple TV. Brad Pitt, George Clooney. They play the fixers, the people that go in and tidy up the mess if something goes wrong.
Oh, cool.
Twist in the tale is something does go wrong with a, I think she's a politician or something. So she calls a fixer or a wolf. George Clooney. George Clooney turns up. Lo and behold, in walks Brad Pitt, who's the wolf for the hotel to clean up the mess. And the two have to work together to tidy up the mess.
But are they like so incompatible it'll just never happen?
Of course, because that's the whole point about being a wolf. You work on your own. You're a lone
You're
wolf.
a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Are they named after Winston Wolf?
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah, it's got to be in it.
Yeah.
It's like, can I get sued for that?
No, because
No.
that's the name. That's what they give them. Anyway, it is what it sounds like. Yeah,
Shit.
they have to work together, and lo and behold, they
Is Julia Roberts okay? In
become good friends. No, she's not in it. But I am going to ruin it.
this? Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
'Cause you two are gonna
I'm not
watch
even
it.
going to bother ringing the
Yeah.
spoiler bell
Ding,
because
ding,
it's a
ding.
Brad Pitt
So-
thingy film. I'm not just no.
So they're obviously working against each other to start with. They hate each other, then they become not,
Did they become lovers?
not friends as such, but they're
There's a respect.
yeah, and then they're almost like gonna part ways, and it's like, well, maybe we should work together type thing. You can tell it's on the cards, but they don't. And then big bad guys turn up at the end to wipe them out, and it ends on a Butch Sundance and Butch Cassidy and Sundance ending where they just get up and start shooting.
Oh, cool. See, maybe there might be a sequel if anyone likes it, or if not, it's got an ending.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds shit.
It wasn't great.
Clooney hasn't done a lot lately, has he?
Coffee adverts.
Yeah.
Mm.
So's Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, he has, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need to. They did a coffee adverts because they got a tax bill to pay. And
Yeah.
just get on with it.
They
and
just
then,
want some free coffee, probably.
yeah,
I
cool.
would.
Right.
What about you, Damien?
What about me? I think the only I've been racking my brain because I've been Halloweening the house. Ludwig, I think, is the only thing I've watched.
Ludwig?
Ludwig?
Is that a
What?
cartoon?
Is that the Mitchell thing?
Yeah.
I
I thought you were having a stroke then, Brett. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say no spoilers because I've got that to watch. That's
Hold on, which one's Ludwig?
David Mitchell.
Tell me
David
about-
Mitchell.
Oh,
David
yeah,
Mitchell
yeah.
plays a guy who he's
I know he's, from what I've
he's
read,
socially inept. He's
portraying his twin brother.
Yeah, I'll
isn't
get
he?
to that.
I
Just-
know, yeah,
just-
I was just telling you what I knew so you didn't ruin it.
Right.
That was all.
Let him talk about
Yeah,
it.
but I just told him not to do any spoilers. I
I'm not
thought-
doing any spoilers.
But I thought if you knew what I knew, it'd be all right.
Oh, okay. Right. He plays a guy who's socially inept. So he basically lives on his own. He sets crossword puzzles. Well, I think he sets crossword puzzles for a living. It seems like that. And he's written a few books about puzzles. Basically, he likes puzzles. And he gets a phone call from his sister-in-law saying that, or literally telling him to come to the house. And she's booked a taxi for him. When he gets there, turns out his brother, who is a CID detective, has gone missing and has left her a note to say, leave the house, go and disappear, sort of thing. And then this is all in the adverts pretty much. So he then, the conceit is he needs to go to the police station to get his brother's notebook. So they say, well, no one. You all got to do is go in, go get the notebook, and come out again. No one's going to know it's not. I can't remember David or whatever his name is. James, I think it is. So no one's going to know that you're not James. And obviously, he gets then all caught up in various kerfuffles and murder inquiries and stuff.
It's got good reviews.
It's very good, and it already has a second season.
Woohoo!
Is there a but coming?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that might be.
The but is
Have you seen all of them?
I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
They're all on iPlayer.
Well, there's 6. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's only 6. It's UK, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The but is
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
the comedy comes from a certain scenario, and that scenario gets cleared up at the end. So, I don't, obviously the storyline can continue,
But they've used the gimmick up.
but the gimmick of
Yeah.
that has disappeared by the end of the last episode. So, I don't see where the comedy's going to come from. Because the character himself is funny, but it's nothing new. All of the comedy comes from the misunderstanding.
Right.
And then, but it's still worth watching. It is funny.
I like David
The
Mitchell.
puzzles and, the murders themselves aren't groundbreaking. They're all pretty much, it's not Death in Paradise.
Jesus.
But it's still worth watch. So back to Mr. Summers, I guess.
Oh, okay. I've carried on with Agatha all along, the Marvel Witch series, which is up in its game for Halloween. It's still worth doing, but again, I think you got the right idea, Paul. Wait for it and then watch it all, because I get the feeling I've missed something, and then have to try and remember what happened the week before because it's very.
Don't even look at me.
No,
I'm
but
not
it's
interested.
very Marvel's. You know, it's always a little bit Easter eggy. You know, there's always little nods and references and things. I have finished the amazing Netflix series, The Queen of Villains, which was based on the Japanese wrestling legend Dump Matsumoto, and it's like her real life and all that.
Yeah.
The second half, because I got to the middle, the second half I felt was rushed. I think they had like 8 episodes or whatever it was, and it was like, we'll just make it, and you know, no one's going to probably watch this, and we'll get it done and tell the whole story. Whereas it's won loads of awards and took on a life of its own and all that, and because it kind of you get the whole origin story, then it gets to the middle. Then you get to the bit where she's at her peak, and then she's suddenly retiring. Spoilers, but it's real life. So, you know, it's like her life happened like in the 80s, so you can't really... And then it's like she retires and all that, and it's just sort of like, so you didn't have enough of her being famous and being like the top one. You see the key bits, but there's a lot more they could have put in there. And there's a lot of, with the other lady wrestlers involved, and there's different backstories where those got like real life not just wrestling storylines, like real life storylines and political things, and there was bullying going on and eating disorders and all that. There's a lot more they could have put in there, which is hinted at, or they sort of drop little things, but then that's the last time you see that person. And it's kind of like, I liked it, it was really good, but there was, I don't know, I feel they just sort of rushed the last years of from her when she got to the top to the retirement. It just seemed to be like 1.5 episodes later sort of thing, and it could have had it done with a bit more
meat to them bones.
Yeah, because they put so much in the first half. That's what made it really good, because you see the training, you see the other like more successful wrestlers not liking certain other wrestlers, and they do the thing like where they tell them they're going to do something, and then they do something different in the ring to stitch them up, and then they accuse another woman of stealing their wallet, and they all get to slap her in the face in the dressing room because she's discerning she never did take the wallet. She's just jealous of her. You get all that sort of stuff. It's all just really like the culture, and that's all really interesting. But then our little hero, who's like the nice one, who won't say boo to a goose, becomes like the queen of evil because she's worked her way into it now. You know, and what to do, and she's just had enough of everyone, and she's just gone for it. And then she's sort of at the top, and then, oh, by the way, I'm going to retire. And it's like,
Yeah.
And there were other things, and I mean, she even, not that anyone cares, but there was a bit in the 80s where she came over to the WWF for a few months and wrestled in America and that, but none of that's, I think she got homesick and went back, but none of that's in there, like, of how big she was, because obviously they cottoned on for, well, she's getting like Hulk Hogan in Japan here as an evil one, we want to cash in on that, and all that. You don't get any of that scope or such, but it's still really good. And it's, I would say, worth a watch, whether you like wrestling or not, because it's that whole.
I don't think I will.
Sports. Oh, you can give it an episode, see what you think.
I watched the Florence Pugh one.
Yeah, probably it's similar to that.
No, it's not. It's got Florence Pugh in it.
I feel you watched it for different reasons, Paul.
I watched it for the wrestling.
Sure you did. Okay, what else you watched, Paul?
Finished Rings of Power, season 2.
Lucky you.
Lo and behold,
Did you like it?
the stranger is...
Ding, 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 spoiler bell.
Well, no, it's been out for a while. Everyone kind of knew it anyway. It's Gandalf.
There you go.
I
Just
don't
in
know
case.
why they dragged it out for 2 series. You know, it's just bloody say it. You got
Was
Tom...
that the dude that came in on a comet or whatever it was?
Yeah. So they finally gave that up. Tom Bombadil's in it a little bit in the last episode. He's all right.
But is that just the like, hey, look, the film didn't have him and we've got him, so we're just as cool?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because there was a whole internet movement that he wasn't in the Peter Jackson films.
Yeah, Balrog's in it for a little bit. At the very end, there's a cool bit where the King of the Dwarfs goes out in a blaze of glory, taking on Balrog. I don't
Thanks,
know.
that song's going to be in my head now.
I don't know about Rings of Power. It's just a bit meh.
Okay, let's move on then.
Yeah. Do you want me to go for the next one?
Yeah, go on. Your wings of power was very short.
Deadpool and
Not the first time he's heard that.
Wolverine. It's finally available to buy.
What did you think? I gave my thing the other week. What
I
did you think?
I really liked it. Yeah, it's hard not to. I think it's the best of the Deadpool films, in my opinion.
It is good.
And B, it's probably one of the best Marvel films. Which I don't think anyone was really expecting. I think people thought it's going to do well at the box office because of the hype. I don't know whether they knew that going into it, because again, it's one of those.
But would you not say it was? I would say best month. But would you not say it was the best Fox film?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I just, you know what you're going to get. It's going to be completely different to the Marvel universe, and that's what it plays on and draws on. It still had a good storyline. Yeah, I just think they did a really sterling job.
Well, they tied it nicely in with the time.
Yeah.
What it's called now, the Time Bureau thing from Loki and all that.
Yeah.
But I just felt a little bit cheap shotted by the way it just sort of stayed its own thing at the end.
Well, yeah, but
that was my only complaint. I liked it because I thought it was going to be like, oh well, where are we now? This is a different. It was all like kind of it all just reset, and like I said, that's why it could be the last Deadpool film ever. As we know
I was looking out for like some decent end of credits, thing, which wasn't really there, which is a shame.
Well, you got like the Fox tribute video, didn't you?
Yeah, which was all right, but again, I was hoping it would be
Microphone.
I was hoping it was going to be like what we're used to at the
You know
end
the
of
arm
credits.
moves.
But really enjoyed it, and I might watch it again very soon.
Nah, cool. I like it.
So you brought it.
Oh no,
You purchased it.
There was
Yeah.
a bit after the credits.
Right, because it was £2 more to buy it than it was to rent it.
There was a bit after the credits.
Was there?
Yeah, it's the Johnny Storm speech.
I can't remember.
But you know the bit with Johnny Storm when he gets killed and Devil's going, he said that. It's actually him
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and you see
Yeah.
the whole speech where he did actually say
I know,
it.
but I was hoping there was,
Oh, yeah, like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Kind of, no.
Yeah, no,
but,
that was cool.
But just hearing Chris Evans deliver that after years of being apple pie, Captain America, and it's like, yeah, and that fucking bitch,
Yeah, and it was nice seeing Electric back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, well, but I've got two more things.
Okay,
That's
Mr.
have I.
Summers. Oh, look at that! Tell you what. So I've just remembered, and it's not really cult faction. It's all really is Grace on ITV one,
What's
which is
Grace?
based on Peter James detective novels. Stars your man from Life on Mars, I should say. Forgot the guy's name now.
Oh,
Not
God.
Gene Hunt, the other one.
Oh, John
Sims.
John
Sim.
Sims.
Sim or Sims, whatever way.
The Master.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's on its third season now. I've used to read the books religiously when they came out, hence probably why I like the TV series. It's nothing new or special or exciting. It's like in the autumn they have Vera. Sorry, in the autumn they have Grace, and then in the winter they have Vera. It just rotates. It's nothing new. Plain old detective series, but it's good.
But that's what they're supposed to be, isn't it?
I think the only thing, if anyone does watch it and has read the books, the one thing that lets the series down is in the books. So it's set in Brighton, and in the books, a bit like they do with Vera, the location is as much of a
Thing is, yeah.
character in the story as the rest of the main players. Whereas in Grace, it could be set anywhere. Doesn't really matter. But in the books, it's very much about Brighton, as
Right.
in
Is it all Bristol back streets?
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know where. No, they do film it in Brighton because they're on the pier a lot and stuff. But do you know what I mean? Like if you watch
Don't get the
Vera,
atmosphere.
you get all the shots of the landscape, and it's all part of.
It's no Death in Paradise.
No, it's no different paradise. So there's that. So Brett, sorry, you can go back now.
Okay, we watched. It was new to Netflix apparently.
Ooh.
Cobweb.
Oh,
Nope.
Ooh,
Nope.
right. And basically, I'll give you the blurby bit.
Is that the spider one that I couldn't remember what it was?
It's young
be.
Peter. Well, it's not really.
No,
Is this a film or a TV series?
Different
It's
one.
a film. Young
Oh.
Peter is plagued by a mysterious constant noise from inside his bedroom wall.
I thought you were going to
A
say inside his
tapping.
head.
Yeah.
A tapping that his parents insist is in his imagination.
Ah.
As his fear intensifies, he starts to believe that his parents are hiding a terrible and dangerous secret. But anyway, when you meet his parents, his dad's Homelander, so straight away you don't trust that. He's like, you're going to be fine, and
Just
smiling
run.
at him. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
run
weird.
away.
It is weird. I know he's done stuff before, like Banshee, and I watched some of that. But seeing him with dark hair now is weird.
So it's,
Just-
which I think is his real hair. colour,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
like his real, and but it's but no, it was really good. It was very weird, very
So
scary,
is this horror or thriller or
very much.
is it trying to be horror but not quite make it?
Psych horror. No, it's
So-
horror. There's enough horror in there. I won't give too much away, but there might be something in the walls.
A cobweb.
And it might link to other things. And
People under the stairs.
and there's a very, very dedicated school teacher who would never get the time to do anything that she does. Like, who's watching her class?
Well, she's doing all
Well,
the
no, that-
pastoral.
Maybe
repair.
they're busy watching One Piece. I don't know.
could
Yeah.
be.
She's just locked him in a cupboard with a DVD player.
I'll be back in a little bit.
It's not the Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's a lunchtime club anyway. It's not during lessons, One Piece.
So you say.
Yeah.
There's many more things.
Just in case Ofsted are listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any of your Ofsteders are out there? Leave me alone. Yeah, no, so it is a bit creepy. There is a resolution, and there are some disturbing bits in it. Does it hold together? There are moments when towards the end I enjoyed it, but was I completely satisfied by it? I'm not sure.
Is it worth watching?
It was worth a watch.
Because I am on the. I want to watch. I haven't watched a
creepy
decent
enough,
horror film for
but it
months.
was like, well, yeah. It does everything, and everything gets tied up at the end. But it was just a bit. I wasn't surprised by anything,
Okay.
Hmm.
Fair
which
enough.
I know,
Although it's
which I know is hard to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that. But I would say I thought maybe they played it safe with some of it when they could have pushed it a bit more. Which when you watch it you'll see. But no, it's it's Netflix. It doesn't cost nothing. It was an enjoyable afternoon.
Cool, Mr. Hawkins.
Two things. One's going to be quite quick. Slow Horses on Apple.
Oh, I'm waiting for those to drop. Paul.
I've started watching those. There's only one left, so I thought,
Oh, is there? Is
Yeah.
that? God, that's gone quick, isn't it?
yeah. But I'm assuming there is. That was episode 5 that we watched up to.
Yeah, it's normally only about 6, I think.
Yeah. It's
It's
good.
brilliant.
It's the same. It just amazes me how they're not all dead. Because the main guy.
Gary Oldman.
No.
Oh, he's got a funny name, isn't he?
Well, not if he's listening.
No, the character, not him.
Yeah,
Moon
him.
or something.
Yeah. So he's just not very good.
No.
He's not a very good agent. Yeah, he seems to think he is. So in his head, he's like some Jason Bourne
You think, therefore you are.
wonder agent, but he's just useless. He's not very macho. He's not very, he can't do martial arts. He's actually not very good with a gun. He's not really good at solving stuff. So you just kind of think, if I
Well,
was,
that's why he's been shoved to
is it-
whatever house. I can't
Yeah.
remember what that's called now.
so if I was Gary Oldman, I wouldn't want him working with me either.
Now this is another one that's on my list. I really want to watch.
Oh,
this.
but
Yeah, you should do it. It's good.
It's
And there's only 6 episodes a season, so
Oh, cool.
you could
Let's
rattle
fit
3
it
days in
in.
a week.
I went back actually, so I'm back in there to try and finish off Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. I'm on about number 8 now. I think there's 10.
Oh no, we finished that. That was
And-
all right.
I'm still I've watched it, and then I was like, oh, shall I watch another one? Try and burn through it. And I was like, no, I'm going to watch something else now.
Yeah.
'Cause I enjoy it, but I think there's so much goes on. You
Nah,
just
see,
need like
we
a break.
commit. We watch right. This is the series we're going to watch. We don't deviate from that until we've done it, or until we decide
I
it's not
used
for us.
to, but I think I'm just trying to juggle too many
No.
series now.
that's your problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, the last thing was the Platform 2.
Oh,
Oh,
this
have
is
you
the
seen that?
the thingy with the
I want
thingy.
to watch that.
The thingy with the thingy.
The first one was
You
amazing.
explain it better than I can.
the first one is an amazing film. I love the first one.
And I think that's the problem. Like with any sequel.
I don't think it needed a sequel.
Yeah.
Sometimes those films, the concept and the idea is so good.
Yeah.
Just stop there. Quit while you're ahead.
And
Not that I've seen the second one, but
I think that is the problem. The idea is really good. And in the second one, they're just almost continuing it. Like they've got an idea where they can make sure that everyone's fed and, they play on that. And yeah, there's some good death sequences and all this kind of stuff. But as I said, I think it just
Deja vu.
should have stopped the first one because
Yeah.
that was so good. But, it kills an hour and a half.
oh god.
And that me done.
Were you hungry when you watched it? Oh.
No, and actually, where there's lots and lots of floors and all the food's on the one platform going up and going down. Yeah, it goes through a lot to get to the point.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one more.
Okay.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, this is your cinema trip, presumably.
Yes. We went to see the new Beetlejuice movie. How much do you want me to?
I don't want any plot details. Just want to know what you thought of it.
I must admit, I'm looking forward to.
I don't want any
watching
more than you
this.
see in the trailer.
Yeah. Well, the main plot device, I guess, is that
Beetlejuice.
no,
Is he in it?
he pops up. The main plot push along point is that the dad's dead, old Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Obviously wasn't gonna
we
come
couldn't
back.
have him in there. But that is also one of my beefs
Okay.
with the film because without it's quite hard. Without giving it away, he kind of becomes the centre point of the film by not
By his
being
absence.
in it.
Yeah.
And I did read somewhere that Tim Burton got Cobby because he wanted to put him in it, and they said no way. So I don't know if this is some kind of
Well, screw you guys.
because obviously you have to use his likeness because there's pictures and things
Yeah.
like that, and they do that.
So he gets some
and-
buns anyway.
Yeah, and it's kind of, but I would say it's better than the first one
Okay.
but I think also that's because
Jenna Ortega's in it. and Winona Ryder,
down.
Damien.
I know. I'm
No,
aware of
but
that fact.
But I think the first one is very much Appetite for Destruction now. It was a great film. I liked it. Do I need to put it on and listen to it again? No, I've seen it so many times. I'll listen to it now. And to have something different with those characters and it move on. When Use Your Illusions came out, it's like, oh, there's other stuff. Yeah, look, they got all this. So in hindsight, I might look back and go, actually, it wasn't as good as I thought. But at the time, there's a lot in it. They open up the afterlife a lot more.
Okay.
We only ever saw the waiting room. I'm trying
Yeah.
not to get to it. And you also see a bit more of the local town.
Just one thing. Does Jenna Ortega literally play a Wednesday ripoff, or is she a bit different in this one?
Nah, she's not Wednesday at all.
Okay, cool.
She's more just. Well, actually, I think it's. What do we see in the trailer of Winona Ryder?
I forget now because it's been about a month or so since I saw a trailer, but someone's getting married. Is she getting married? Was a wedding coming up or something?
Oh yeah, she's Justin Theroux is who plays like the slimy, cheesy boyfriend kind of thing, which is actually normally.
Does he talk into a microphone?
He does. He talks into lots of microphones, but he's like a sort of producery dude as well. But he normally plays like a cool guy. He was like the director of the movie in Mulholland Drive. Remember with the dark shades, and he was the DJ in Zoolander with the dreads. And
Who is he in this?
he's the cheesy boyfriend.
I know.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
let's
But,
talk about this film.
No, but I'm just saying to our listeners, you might go, "Who's he?"
Well, they can
And-
Google him.
And he had a thing with Jennifer Aniston and then dumped her, and everyone was sorry for it because it was poor Jennifer. He was the one that dumped her. Remember when it was all like, she's been dumped, and everyone
No.
was sorry?
No, I don't.
It was him that dumped her.
Is
I
this
think,
pre-Brad or after Brad?
after Brad?
Oh,
Because she'd
okay.
been for enough.
Shit happens.
Yeah, but so for him to play that the slimy sleazy thing was quite cool because normally he's the cool hip dude or whatever, you know. I'm trying to think who else pops up in it. There's some cool cameos. If you think he directed it, you might be able to work out who they might be.
Yeah. But.
All
All right, so out of 10.
Yeah, let's get to the actual film itself. What your thoughts on the film?
Really cool plot, a few twists and turns. Nothing that. Actually, there was one bit that did get me, which was quite cool. But most of the things that unfold, you're going to kind of go, yeah, okay. But it was very much a kind of Looney Tunes ride that you would expect from a Beetlejuice sort of type film. And I would probably go, high 7, 8.
Cool.
That's good.
At the moment, as I say, when I watch it a few more times, I might get more.
Yeah.
But it was just that excitement of you got something, you liked it, but you've seen that one. I don't need to watch that film again. You know what I mean? Because I've seen it 100 times.
And it's good to get you in the mood for Halloween as well.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's a nice little thing, but
Entree.
really good, really good.
Cool.
Cool.
So go and watch it. Support your local cinema.
Just take your own snacks.
Damn right.
Hell yeah. The Gate is a 1987 supernatural horror film directed by, now I may get this wrong, but I'm going to give it a go, Tibor Takács.
That sounds good.
Yep,
I'll give
and
that a
stars Stephen Dorff in his film debut. The film follows two young boys who accidentally release a horde of demons from their backyard through a large hole in the ground. An international co-production between Canada and the United States, the film cost around $5 million to make and returned double that at the box office. 3 years later, following its success on home video, a previously shelved sequel was released. However, with only Lewis Tripp returning to his role as Terry, it failed to trouble the box office. The film leans heavily into the contemporaneous satanic panic that was recently gripped the United States. However, unlike the majority of horror films released at this period, The Gate is toned down in both its use of shocking gore and jump scares, allowing it to receive a 15 certificate upon release. Originally, screenwriter Michael Nankin penned a much darker movie where not only the house was overrun with demons, but the entire town succumbed to the creatures. There were scenes of neighbours being taken out of their homes, dragged into the street and killed. Glenn and Terry were less relatable, performing acts such as ripping the wings off moths, etc. And the demon lord was more human-like, made out of blood and entrails, and would stalk Al and Glenn around the house. Plus, the dog didn't come back at the end.
Bastards.
A third installment remake was slated for a 2010 release entitled The Gate 3D and was going to be directed by Alex Winter. However, no such release ever happened.
That's bogus.
It's bogus, dude. The main cast, because I'm not going to go through them all, and to be fair, anyone else I don't mention here doesn't really do a lot. You got Stephen Dorff as Glenn, Christina Denton as Al, Lewis Tripp as Terry Chandler, Kelly Rowan as Laurie Lee, and Jennifer Irwin as Linda Lee.
Yeah, Jennifer Irwin
is the one you...
Yeah, Eastbound and Down and just loads of stuff now. And I can't think of anything else.
Anything else, but she's been in lots of stuff.
If you Google her, you're like, oh, it's her.
Cool. Right, so as is customary when we put our spotlight on a movie, especially one of the past, we give our initial memories and thoughts and have a little bit of a nostalgia fest. So I'll start with Mr. Hawkins.
Yeah, it's going to be quite short for me. I've seen it, but I couldn't remember anything about it.
Okay.
I know I've seen it, because, you know, when you watch it and you think, I know exactly what's coming up in the next scene. But yeah, before going into it, no.
Cool.
Blank slate, mate.
Blankety blank. Mr. Summers.
I remember this was another video classic where the artwork drew me into the video. But the poster looks amazing.
Yeah.
The poster, it does look like an album cover of that time, which I guess is what they were going for. And I remember getting it. This was at the time, I think it was Sparings in Hickler.
Oh, Sparings.
There you go. And I think it was one of those, if you brought it back by 5 o'clock, you got it for like £2 or something,
yeah.
You know, whatever it was, rather than £5.
Brett was there going, I can do like 5 of those, sure.
Damn right.
2 TV sets, 2 VCRs going.
And And as always, my trusting mother trusts my cinematic judgment. And as long as
I think
was
she just
quiet,
gave up on you by then.
Yeah, I'd already seen all the Friday the 13th and Elm Streets by then.
Yeah.
So this one was a 15, so it was probably like, oh, he's doing kids' films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting there. I remember enjoying it. I remember, and it's just gone out my head now what the band was called.
Sacrifice.
He had the T-shirt on of, was it Raven? No, what was the...
it's Killer Dwarfs.
No, Killer Dwarfs is the back patch.
Oh, okay.
But he has a T-shirt on, and it was like it was a northern like thrash metal band from England.
Okay.
And it's gonna bug me now. Oh, 'cause when I watched it, I was like,
Don't worry about it.
No, but I'm
I
not
know,
gonna
but
sleep.
don't.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
But it was like a power trio, and I was just like, I always remember being excited that like someone else had heard of them, and they were in an American film. But that was in the proper like early days Metallica metal, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is probably, if you listen to it now, it's just awful. But speed metal.
We'll leave that
days.
one there.
Yeah, I'll have a look. But yeah, I remember that, and Poison Dwarf were a band from
Poison-
memory.
Yes, yeah, it's Poison Dwarf. You're right.
Yeah, Poison Dwarf were a band at the time. I think they were a gimmicky band at the time, from memory. But I remember I knew I'd heard of them, and looking back now, there was a moment when I'll get to that in a minute actually. But yeah, so that was my memories of that. But that's the bits I remember more than. And I remember there was a hole when there were demons and things. But
Yeah.
that was kind of. I didn't remember that much of that. I didn't remember all the. I remember the party, but I didn't remember it being like it was or whatever else. But yeah, no, it was lots of memories and music because I think I was quite into the Satanic Panic. Cause I think Dee Snider had done his speech at the high courts in America and all that, and we were all playing Judas Priest and Sabbath backwards, trying to actually hear something.
Yeah, exactly.
Ruining our styluses. So yeah, that's my more music memory tying in with that at the time.
Yeah, same here really.
Yeah.
Although, so this was around the time that we got Sky TV. So and it was a staple on. I think it was probably on every day on Sky because they had a limited amount of stuff they could put on.
Yep.
And I remember we taped it as you used to do in the old days, and would just watch it along with things like Nightmare on Elm Street, etc. You had them on pretty much a constant loop throughout the summer holidays. But like you, it was the music that stuck in my mind more than the film itself. So I'm not entirely sure why I chose it, but I did, and we watched it. So there we go. Should we go through the plot?
It was Venom.
Oh, was it?
Venom, that was the band.
That was his T-shirt. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah, so am I. I wouldn't have been able to sleep.
No, I'd have been worried about that.
Right.
Brett, you're first up on
yes, I
our
am.
epic plot walkthrough.
Well, there was a lot to get through. There's a lot happens in this film. Yeah, Venom was the when we first see him. It was the. No, I'm just checking while I'm trying to cover while I'm scrolling for the bit to
You're not doing a
read.
great job.
Well, that's because you heckled me.
Yeah.
You let me just
Be
talk.
quiet in the back there.
Maybe if you'd have done as you're told and not worried about Venom and got
Well, no,
ready.
Venom was the back patch when we first see him. That's what I meant. And
Right.
then later on, it was Killer Dwarfs.
Yeah,
That's
there
all
we
I
go.
was
Killer
gonna
Dwarfs,
say.
not Poison Dwarfs, as you
Whilst-
said earlier.
They were their cousins.
Made me doubt myself.
Anyway, so we've got Glenn, Stephen Dorff, who, he's young in this. He returns home to find his house is abandoned. No one is answering his calls, but there's a half-eaten dinner in the kitchen and an eerie sound of laughter from somewhere nearby. He goes into the backyard. He climbs into the tree house. He finds a lit lantern and a creepy doll. Then the tree is abruptly struck by lightning and collapses.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ooh.
I had to rewind it when I was watching it because I was like, there's a bottle of HP sauce on that table.
Yeah.
You don't see HP sauce in films.
Particularly when they're having a roast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a joint of beef that had been roasted
Well,
there.
that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. I thought, especially with
Well, it's
Red-
Canada, isn't it? So it was shot in
yeah.
Toronto. So presumably,
Yes, it was.
being
'Cause some
colonial,
of the- 'cause
ex-colonial,
some of
whatever,
the kids
Commonwealth and all that,
Some of the kids at the party were from Degrassi Street.
were they?
But they have like gravy on chips and stuff. They have poutine, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
poutine.
Yeah, but it was just like, I don't know why, but my
Yeah.
eye got drawn to this
I know,
HP
but
sauce,
that's
and you
what I
just
mean.
don't see it.
I was thinking, where's the gravy?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't put HP, but maybe they just leave their condiments out on the table. Some people do that.
Dirty bastards.
So, you know, the HP sauce is always there.
Put it back in the fridge.
But best bit of product placement.
Yeah, 30 years later, and we're talking about HP sauce. But yeah, so this...
If you've seen a film with an HP sauce bottle,
Yes, do please
let
tell
us
us.
know.
Put it in the
We're gonna
comments or
start a
send us
trend.
something. We're on HP Sauce Watch. It's much better than
saucy movie.
Inside Number 9's Look for the Rabbit. Look for the HP sauce. Anyway, so, yeah.
I actually thought I'd fast forwarded it or something at this point, and I wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's exactly the same. It's got that kind of... It almost like it's opening midway through something.
Which is the point.
Yeah.
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 Carrying on. Glenn awakens to the sound of music. Men at work. It was only a nightmare. Through his window, he sees that the workers have cut down the tree in his backyard, and a fragment of geode has been unearthed. Glenn returns with his friend Terry to dig for more. Though the workers have attempted to fill in the hole left by the tree, Glenn and Terry breach the surface and uncover a large geode. In the process, Glenn catches a splinter and leaves a small bit of blood behind.
Maybe relevant later. So it's pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, but it's a good setup.
Yep.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Add a geode.
Yeah.
I'd be like, whoa, cool. But then they smashed it. It's like,
This is
Broken.
where I laughed, because I'm pretty sure there's a picture somewhere of you in the coat Stephen Dorff's got on and me in the denim sleeveless jacket. Without the glasses.
I'm sure I had better hair. Because his haircut makes his head look massive compared to the rest of his body.
he tried catching up with your hairstyle later on in life.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, a personal trainer came in, because he's fighting here, but he's doing well. Jolly little Stephen. But we
Cool.
don't judge on that.
No, we don't. With Glenn's parents leaving town for 3 days, Glenn and his sister Alexandra, or more commonly known as Al, convinces them that they will
You
be
can
safe.
call her Al.
See, I kept thinking of Quantum Leap every time I wrote Al on this, but anyway. She convinces the parents that they will be safe and there's no
that
need
would
for a
have been a good
babysitter.
crossover, wouldn't it? Sam goes back into
That's where the evil leaper came from.
Stephen Dorff's body. Goes, what the f***'s going on here? That's where he got all his fighting prowess from.
There you go, that's it. He's got a repressed memory of being taken over by Sam.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they don't need a babysitter, and Al is left in charge. Al obviously throws a party, of course. What else
Waste
would you
no
do?
time.
Yeah. Upstairs, Terry and Glenn break open the geode. They discover it has left a strange writing on a notepad, and they read the incantation out loud. I should have put a comma or something there. They go downstairs just as the party goers and began playing a levitation game. Unable to lift the selected teenager, they accost Glenn and try it on him. Everyone is shocked when they successfully levitate him, and then he gets thrown across the room.
Yeah.
I have to say, Terry is not making a great effort to try and break that geode. He's not even holding it down. You know, you need to get a vice or prop it sternly on the table so it doesn't move. All he's doing is got a... And why is he hitting it with a chisel? Just hold it and bang it with a hammer.
Just what tools they got, innit?
No, you want a chisel because you don't want to smash it. That's the whole point. The chisel tries to break it in a straight line.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But even so, it needs a vice or something to hold it.
Yeah, this was the point where I spotted kids from Degrassi Street around at the party. And also, this has got to be the shittest party in a horror film ever.
Exactly.
Nothing happens.
There's
in
no
the
red
morning,
cups.
They don't even have to, they don't clear up afterwards. There's no we better rush to clear out. That front room is
Oh no, she's have you not noticed? No, she's Al is clearing up as they're going along, isn't she?
But but there's normally the next morning bit where we've got to clear it up, and there's someone on the floor going, "Oh, where are we?"
Yeah,
and it was all spotless.
Someone phones the Yellow Pages and say, "Is this possible? You might just be able to save my life."
Who are you? Who are you?
Who's she? None of that. Anyway, it's a pretty lame party. Let's be honest. It's not
I was
good.
just laughing at that. And the music, they're all like clearly jocks or like preppy kids, and they're all listening to new romantic
Yeah.
kind of, which is obviously probably just put over the top afterwards. But
More than likely, yeah.
but they wouldn't be listening to that.
No.
And the tracksuit tops and that were just it was 80s, wasn't it?
Even so, though, I think I don't think a lot of effort was put into
It was 80s in Canada, so you got to remember
about 10 years behind.
Canada didn't get the 80s till 1986.
Yeah.
And it's too well lit as well.
Yeah, they're supposed to be selling sort of. Well, the guy is telling a ghost story of some sort. I wasn't even. To be honest, it was so lame. I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
but,
it was. Yeah.
he's obviously supposed to be doing some sort of.
No one even did the yawny arm stretching to try and
Exactly.
touch a girl.
No.
And none of the girls wearing like decent cheerleader outfits. It completely missed on the horror story genre.
Yeah,
they didn't.
there's no horror tropes in
There
this bit at all.
There wasn't a slutty one.
No.
There wasn't a brain box.
No
No.
one went
So,
upstairs
They're all just
And then later
pleasant
on, well, that's when I
kids
started
that like each
laughing.
other.
and drinking soda.
It's
Yeah.
the next bit, but it was like when she's then in bed in like her full pajama bodysuit. It was like,
Yeah. So this is it's not on here because I couldn't quite fit it in, but I think child services may need to be called on either the director or someone, because the scene where she's in her pajamas and she looks at the mirror and checks herself out, no relevance whatsoever. And it just felt a little bit pervy. And that's not me looking back with current eyes.
I don't think it could be pervy
I
in
thought it
that
was
big
just
jumpsuit
girls-
she was
Yeah,
wearing.
but that's the point, because she does that and then she does that. And it's just, I don't know,
is
it
that
just felt, what
girls
was the point in
being
that?
Girls?
Yeah,
Is that
but
the idea of it? I'm guessing. I don't know.
I guess so, but I don't know. It just felt a little bit, what was the point in that? Anyway. You're up, Brett.
Okay. So that night, after the most raucous party in the history of Canada, Glenn sees his bedroom wall stretching, and Terry embraces a heavenly apparition of his dead mother, only to have it turn out to be the body of Angus the dog, Glenn's recently deceased dog. Well, we learn at that point that it's deceased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think- yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I
yeah.
didn't. I did. I agonised over how to write this bit without it, because he walks past the dog at first, who's dead. Anyway,
So maybe the dog had all the booze.
yeah, passed out.
And the drugs.
Yeah. The next day, Glenn wants to call his parents and tell them about the dog, but Al is reluctant as she is clearly enjoying her freedom. Meanwhile, Terry's at home rocking out to Sacrifix, a European heavy metal band whose lyrics are supposedly based on something called The Dark Book. And looking at the album sleeve, Terry realizes that the writing on the notepad is the same that is on the album sleeve.
I mean, that's pretty good coincidence that he just so happens to be listening to the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, that very
But for
band.
And I
telling
like
him
the
very
way
time.
you put rocking out when in fact he was dancing with a curtain closed.
Yeah, he's got a multicoloured curtain on his head. But, you know,
We've all done it.
this is Canadian rocking out, clearly.
Yeah. Sacrifice. I want to know who the band were on the album cover. 'cause
Yeah.
That looked like they had fun making that. Sacrifix might be my favourite film band next to Stillwater and Spinal Tap now.
About Wild Stallions.
Yes.
Where do they fit into this equation?
They're more than a band. They brought harmony to the universe.
They're more than just a band.
They're like political leaders.
They're a way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact. So, like we say, he's standing on his bed. He's got the thing over his head, and he's reciting the lyrics. And
Then it's something
They-
like,
they go-
wait a minute.
yeah, it's like, wait a minute.
Zoinks.
Yeah, and we don't see it's. At no point do we see him take that note, because all this happened at Glenn's house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's in possession of the
realised
notepad.
you've missed a little bit as well from the beginning where Stephen Dorff's dad sits him down to sort of say,
That's my HP sauce.
no. It was his peppy father talk, which was the most offensive thing in the whole film, where he's like, Terry's mum's dead and he's a bit messed up, so don't play with him. Basically. And it was just like, dude. I was like, And he's angry at everything, and sometimes he just wants to do crazy things. It doesn't mean you have to do them.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
would you jump
And
off a cliff? Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. That just felt really wrong.
Well, it's like they couldn't be bothered to set up the fact that Terry was messed up, so they got his dad to tell us. Because, like, you know, all you get is Terry goes home to an empty house and there's a note on the fridge that says, gone on business.
Yeah.
And he takes a bite out of a cold pizza. Dad's clearly not coping well with the mum's death. The house is in a state.
But it was just like, I don't know. It was just how he did it. He's like, hey, son, you know, Terry's a fuck up because his mum's dead and like this, that, and the other. And it was just like, no, you can't. No, it was just wrong how he did it.
Where's the compassion?
Yeah. Or at least, like, you know, your friend Terry might be a bit angry at the moment because of what's happened, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
but
go
don't
easy
get
on him.
caught up.
Be a
Not-
good
not
supportive
like-
friend.
Don't play with him.
If he wants to
because
do anything silly, try and stop him. Not
Yeah. Terry's a
let him
psycho.
crack on. Just don't you do it yourself.
Maybe that's why there was no alcohol or drugs at the party.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Al heads off to the beach, leaving Glenn alone. Her friend Eric is tasked with disposing of Angus's body.
And she do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take it to the vet or anything. However, when he arrives at the animal shelter, oh, that's right, he did, yeah, he did try. It is closed, so he heads back to Al's house, where he notices the giant hole and promptly dumps the dog body in there. It's almost like it was meant to be.
Mm.
Terry brings the album to Glenn's house, believing that the hole in Glenn's backyard is a gateway to the domain of evil gods, and speculates that their actions from the previous day started the process. He goes on to say that the only missing element would be to deposit a sacrifice into the hole. Uh-oh!
Dun 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 dun. So yeah. Oh yeah, you get rid of this dead dog. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, wait, what? That was, like, for lack of a better term, I believe...
It was lazy.
It was... No, but it was... I believe the technical term is pussy whipped. Because he was like... yeah, okay, I'll get rid of it. Because he's been trying to get on with it. And she's not into me, guys. He's like, I'll get rid of your dead dog and take it to the vets and then carry it and dump it into a hole. You know, he's a nice guy. He's not even the asshole boyfriend.
No, he's not the
He's
typical
trying-
jock.
And that's probably his problem.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's not getting anywhere.
That's it.
Is this just like all the losers? It's like the one
It's
bit
the
where all
losers
the
club.
losers party.
Yeah.
All the other ones are like fighting proper demons somewhere else. And
Yeah, drinking whiskey and then like making a little flamethrower with a lighter to get rid of the demons.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Proper kids do.
yeah.
Okay. So after reading the section of the dark book that is supposed to close the gate, the boys find the hole is closed and assume their efforts were successful. Al arrives back at the house and presents Glenn with a toy rocket. Because she's no longer going to the beach, she spent all her money on this toy rocket randomly for no reason.
Because she loves him.
it's an
Yeah,
act of love.
I know where it's supposed to be leading, but there's no meat around these bones.
I understand at this point Sigmund Freud is doing backflips.
Exactly. That night, a swarm of moths shatter Glenn's bedroom window, and Angus's corpse is found in Terry's bed. A pair of demonic arms try to go on. You want to say something?
Gotta watch that Terry. It's like, stuff's happened to him and he's messed up. Where's
Wow.
He's in bed with your dead dog.
A pair of demonic arms tried to pull Al under the bed, and Terry and Glenn barely save her. They attempt to flee the house, but are greeted outside by Glenn and Al's parents, who are actually disguised demons. After returning to the house, Al volunteers to inspect the yard, but the others see it swarming with small little demons and call her back. Terry leads everyone to the basement to retrieve the dark book, but it bursts into flames. They then attempt to stop the creatures by reading the Bible.
When in doubt.
Reach for the Bible.
Yeah.
I thought the little creatures looked amazing for 1986.
Yeah.
I know it's probably been touched up since then, sort of thing.
Yeah, quite
just,
possibly.
Just like Terry and the dog. But, you know, but it was, you know, 1986, it was, I'm guessing people in suits over a giant background rather than stop motion. And I don't know, I was trying to work it out. But
Yeah, it's most of
But
it's
it
done
look-
by. So obviously, that when they're running around the yard, that is superimposed on top. But
Yeah.
a lot of it is done with the using forced perspective.
Perspectives. That's what I thought, but I thought it looked really good. I mean, there's worse stuff out nowadays using that.
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing wrong with it. My only gripe with the demons is they don't look particularly scary. They just look stupid.
That's what I was going to say.
They look a bit Then they look a bit like they're
It almost
we're
felt like
wandering around. We don't know why we're here. We're gonna,
there could have been Benny Hill music playing over the top at that point. And I think that.
Well, I
was
get
a
it.
shame.
I think they had no directions. Like, you put that suit on, and all of you put the suit on.
Now
when I
run.
shout action, run, and they just all run in different directions.
Run over there, run back
Yeah.
again, now run that way. But I'm sure I've seen those demons in something else.
Probably.
I almost thought it was a bit Ghostbusters-y.
Yeah, they do look a
Marshmallow Man.
little bit like the dogs.
Yeah.
Shit, I can't remember what they're called now.
Gatekeeper and the Keymaster.
Yeah,
Terror Dogs.
that's
Yeah,
not what I was thinking of. But if that's what they're called, I'll take your word for it.
That's what they called them back in '84 for some of the advertising, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
But I was quite impressed with all that. I mean, it don't get me wrong, it is still a bit cheesy for what it is, but compared to like a lot of those things at the time, and even now, there was something the other day where they had little monsters in that we watched, and then they looked a bit rubbish, and that was like after this.
Yeah,
Was there something in House or House 2 with tiny little monsters? Oh, it doesn't matter. Jesus, there's probably in loads of different things.
bound to be.
Go on then, Brett.
So anyway, with their trusty Bible, Terry suddenly decides. Oh wait, there don't the girls try it first, or was that later on?
Girls don't try it. No.
No, because don't they say like, "Oh, we'll do it" because we went to Sunday school.
Yeah, that's
Was
not.
that later on?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, sorry. That made me laugh as well. We'll do it. We went to Sunday school. I was like, oh God. But anyway, sorry. Terry reads from Psalm 59, and the hole seems to be closing, but he slips and falls into it, where he is attacked by the itty bitty demons. Al and Glenn pull Terry out the hole as it begins closing. Terry reads from Genesis, but like anyone, decides that's probably not what to do, or he panics, so he just lobs the Bible into the hole and hopes for the best.
Or he just thinks, I'm going to spread the word and let them read it.
Yeah.
An explosion knocks them unconscious. When they wake up, the hole appears sealed once more. That night, a wall breaks open and a dead body falls through. Glenn wonders if this is the construction worker he heard was buried in the walls of the house, although Terry confessed that he made the story up. Before either of the boys can react, the construction worker pulls Terry into the wall, which seals behind him. How many times do you think the props people were fed up? Open the hole, dig the hole back up, fill it back up again.
Yeah.
Well, the power of direction probably means they could have shot it out of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get that. But
We say this at least once every couple of months.
Yeah.
Films aren't filmed in sequence.
not all of them.
The majority of the month.
Anyway, upstairs, Al notices a hazy image of the construction worker in the mirror. Glenn bursts into Al's bedroom, and the construction worker appears. Al throws a stereo at him, and he disintegrates into a dozen little demons. Al holds the bedroom door shut while Glenn races down to find their father's gun. Good lad. A demonic version of Terry appears and bites his hand. Al runs downstairs to help and stabs Terry in the eye with the foot of a Barbie doll.
Probably the most violent bit in the whole
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
Al and Glenn hide in the closet, but the construction worker breaks through the interior wall. Al fires a shot into his head, but he is uninjured and drags her away.
So did we ever get an explanation of who that dude is?
No.
Because like he said, I made that up. It wasn't really true. It was winding him up. So who was this strange demony ghosty zombie man?
The demons have taken, or initially took Terry. They read his mind or something, and
Yeah, the powers of the story of
yeah,
suggestion.
exactly,
and
power of
so
suggestion
they did
and
their
all that.
parents and that, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Or maybe they forgot and didn't read the scripts
Yeah.
and thought, well, we've got all the prosthetics
Well,
now, and we've got
Terry-
an actor over there.
Well, Terry still hasn't said, oh, by the way, the other night, you know, guess what happened? My dead mum turned up.
Yeah.
He doesn't mention.
That's never mentioned.
No, well, he copes. I mean, this guy. He's
Sorry about your dog.
Yeah.
You know, but like he doesn't even say sorry. It was actually my dead mum, and then it turned into your dog.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
No one. In fact, no one goes. What the fuck are you doing? A dead dog by the front door.
Yeah, and he's
no
just
one
like-
says that.
it's
He's
like
just
dancing
dancing with it. Exactly.
And
Oh,
it's
dear.
like, yeah, Terry's. I want to see the second one now because I imagine by the second one, Terry's just like a complete psycho, where he's been through so much. He's just like,
He's a gibbering wreck.
right, yeah. Sorry, I've interrupted.
That's all right. Yeah, I was going to say the prosthetics though on the construction work is pretty cool. And it's
Yep.
quite a good. Obviously that's all practical. That's all good. I thought that was good. Right. Glenn realizes that Terry and Al represent the two human sacrifices that would fully open the gate. He realizes that the rocket Al intended to give him for his birthday is a symbol of love, light, and purity.
Of course it is.
It's the only thing that can stop the rise of the old gods. He makes his way upstairs just before the floor collapses, revealing a chasm beneath the house. Glenn retrieves the rocket and attempts to launch it, but the matches keep blowing out. The wind sucks Glenn into the foyer, where a giant serpentine demon emerges. The demon pats Glenn on the head, touches his hand, and returns to the hole. Just like, there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, actually, he's not evil after all. He just wants to be friends.
Yeah.
Glenn
Probably been lonely down in the hole.
Yeah, exactly. He's been there for a millennia. Glenn discovers that the demon's touch has placed an eye in the palm of his hand. For no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn stabs out the eye, then struggles to descend the staircase. Well, that's not easy to say, is it? Struggles to descend the staircase, at which point the demon re-emerges. Glenn uses a battery-powered launcher to fire his rocket into the demon. The demon explodes, dispelling the dark clouds above the house. Glenn returns to the house. Angus emerges from the front closet, seemingly restored to life. He is followed by Terry and Al, also unhurt. The kids worry about how to explain the wreckage of the house to their parents.
So they killed the demon with the giant rocket of love his sister gave him.
Yeah. And the dog's dead.
But it's back.
But it's back.
Yeah. It's power of love.
But it's a curious thing. But the house is a mess. That's but how are we going to explain it to mum and dad?
And that's where they get yellow pages then.
Yeah, this is it. I'm sure they had yellow. No, what?
The equivalent.
Yeah.
They'd have had the equivalent.
The Canadian pages.
Well, it did, because it's in all American films and Highlander.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call it. They doesn't matter.
Phone book.
No, they don't call it the phone book. Anyway,
I'm trying to
Blue
think Back
Pages or
to-
something.
It's a list,
Back to the
isn't it?
Future.
Isn't it something list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phone. Oh, it doesn't matter. Jesus.
Write in the
I'm doing a
comments
breath.
below. Tell us what you call the yellow pages in the States. Not that we have the yellow pages anymore either, for clarification.
No.
We've moved on. We have the internet now.
No, we don't have phone numbers.
What do you mean we don't have phone numbers?
You can't look up Brett Summers and anywhere and say.
The
"That's
yellow
my
pages
home."
wasn't a phone book.
No, but we had a phone book. We don't
We,
have
we're
them
not
now.
talking about
Yeah,
phone
it's not a
books, are
phone
we?
book. It's an online
The yellow
phone book as
pages
well.
was.
Yeah, but you're not registered. Your telephone number isn't registered. Not like the old days is what
The
I'm saying.
landline would be,
The landline is
Where?
in the phone book.
which is online.
There's a phone book.
Yes.
I thought they had to scrap it because of data protection and all
No,
that.
you can decide whether or not you're in it or not.
Yeah.
Obviously, but
I didn't know that.
you could anyway. Even like 20
Even
years
before
ago, yeah.
GDPR, you
Yeah.
could still.
That's good because I'm always forgetting my home phone number. 'cause I
Craig's
don't
I'm
use
Craigslist.
it.
not even connected.
Craigslist.
No,
No,
that's a selling
no.
and buying thing in a
Okay.
serial killer's
So it just
marketplace.
Just popped into my head.
where people go to like swap wives and stuff
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Who's Craig?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
not important.
Might be.
Well, say someone in the comments can tell us what the hell we're talking about.
Who is Craig and why is this list important in your country?
Well, that's thrown me completely. What did we just watch?
The Gate.
The Gate. That was it. Yeah. So there we go. That was The Gate.
Yeah, it was.
I think the ending was a bit rushed. And as I shouted out midway through my narrative there, what was the fucking point in the eye?
yeah.
It's like, oh, I got a really cool thing I can do.
I actually forgot because they did it and then it was dealt with in about 10 seconds.
Yeah,
later.
he's got the eye. He looks at it. It blinks at him, and then he goes and gets something, a knife or something, and stabs it.
Wasn't that in one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets?
I think it's been in loads of things,
Yeah.
but I think it's like
No, Nightmare on Elm Street is in the back of his throat.
Elm
Street 2.
The whole thing about this film is there seemed to be a collection of good ideas and nice bits, but as a whole, it feels like a jumbled mess.
Yep.
I wonder if it's another one that got cut to pieces and then like half of it, or it was just made that way. You know that one where they're like, it must be an hour and a half, and in those days they just cut bits out whether it meant anything or not.
Potentially.
And to the opening bit that you mentioned before we walked through the plot, you know, I feel that it really struggled from what are we? Are we going to be something like Gremlins, or is that a bit too full on? Do we want to be a bit more?
I think they were
PG.
going more for like the kids'
Exactly.
teen horror,
But
rather than slasher.
yeah, but I think that's the problem. If they'd have plucked up the courage to say, no, we're going to make a proper.
We're going to make
horror
what the
film.
screenwriter originally penned.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think around that time, you would have had
Trolls.
Gremlins, Trolls, Ghoulies, Critters. You know, you've had
Yep.
all the little people movies that are out.
But
And
they
they've obviously tried to have their own little people.
But they also played on a bit of humour. This didn't have humour. It was just.
I'd say it did in some ways.
I don't think it did. I think it was so bad. It wasn't funny. It was just like.
Oh no, you got the bit with the two bully girls where they like, what was it they said when they sort of they used a homophobic slur at them.
There's quite a few of those in it,
Yeah.
to be fair. I mean, Glenn calls the older kid a fag and runs off.
And then it was like you two gaying it up over there
Yeah.
or something, fagging it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just a
Something like
comment. I meant that there was no.
It's more than a comment, Paul.
No. But what I
No.
mean is, if it
I
was
know.
like a Gremlins or a Trolls, then the little demons would have done something comical.
Munchies as well. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, you're right. There's humour in those. There's sort of prankster type
And
elements to them.
And in some of those films, they try to instill moments of poignancy or proper emotion. None of this made any sense.
So I would disagree a little bit on there, insofar as the film has a number of faults, not least the direction, the editing, which you've just kind of touched on. I mean, rather than follow, it's a load of set pieces that follow on from each other rather than blend naturally. So it's like it's a jump cut from it's night, then it's jump cut to the morning, then it's jump cut to the later in the afternoon. It's almost as if the director's kind of like, well, I just want to get this film over and done with.
Yeah, because they would have only had limited filming hours with the kid actors.
Yeah, potentially, but I mean, my
they were
thinking.
the Poltergeist girl 20
Right,
hours a day.
Yeah. How did that end up?
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think the director basically just wanted to get this movie over and done with and get signing his Hallmark contract, because that's what he does now, is make Hallmark movies.
Oh God!
So that's his bank for the rest of his career.
Is he reunited with Stephen Dorff?
Quite possibly.
I bet he's in
But
some
what I was going to
Christmas film.
say is, so all of the jump cuts and there's no real cohesion to the plot itself, and then the subplot with Al and the potential boyfriend. I can't remember his name because it was pointless bothering to remember it.
Derek. Or
Eric
Brad.
or something. It's got no relevance to how the main plot plays out, and it's the same for the two girls. They're just, the two sisters. I think they're only there to provide one piece of relatively lame comic relief, well, in fact, very lame comic relief, which is they go back in the house and they open the cupboard doors.
Yeah.
And they're there with garlic around their neck and holding crucifixes.
There is that bit around that bit, and the bit where they're sort of Scooby ganging, walking along before they run back in the house in the cupboard. There's I would say it's about a good 90 seconds when it's like, this is the film Goonies could have been.
It's got a very
But-
Goonies.
But there's
filter.
about 90 seconds where like Goonies could have been this good in that 90 seconds. The rest of it, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're all walking along, they're fighting demons, they're looking around, I thought, oh, they've got the act together now. Then they go outside again. We're going to go back indoors because we've done our hours on this film set,
Yeah.
so we'll be back in a minute. And there's a few of those as well, and you watch from different angles and things. You're like, I wonder if that... I'll stand over here while you two go over there, and you see someone stood there, we're like, that's not him.
Yeah.
And whatever else. But yeah, so it was a good 90 seconds where, Goonies was jealous. But that was about it.
Yeah,
That was
about
it.
90
The hour-
seconds.
about the hour and a half that it was on.
But all that being said, about the subplot and the directing, I think the only thing that kind of does come through, and although you've already disagreed, is that I think the friendship between Glenn and Terry works because it feels
I like them.
feels genuine,
And the
and
dog was
also
cool.
with the sister. So and I know it's all part of the build up to have the whatever it was,
The
love
love
and
rocket.
sacrifice,
The
etc.
love rocket.
Yeah, the love rocket. But I mean,
Sounds like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
that relationship actually kind of feels real insofar as that's probably how I've only got a brother, but that's probably how
Yeah,
an
there's
older
yeah.
bit of an age gap between
Yeah.
them as well, I guess.
which is, to be fair, in most films of this kind of genre that were aiming at that sort of market would have had even the sister and the best friend as basic cannon fodder. Only the protagonist is going to be the one that comes out of it unscathed. So only Glenn is the one that would come out of it unscathed, if you see what I mean. Others would have just had them being, cannon fodder for the demons.
Yeah, but no one dies.
No, exactly.
Even the dog comes back.
This is probably the worst demon ever. He's not very good.
No, he doesn't even move. He
Can't even get
he
out of the
rises
bloody
up.
house.
Yeah.
No.
Out the garden, anyway. He did destroy a tree house. That takes some doing.
No, he didn't.
Well, it was like
The construction workers did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were acting on behalf of the demon to open the.
That's the
the
point.
gate.
Again, the reason for the tree house or the tree itself being demolished is not mentioned
But-
whatsoever. It's
that-
like, the guys come in, destroy it, take it down.
that
the next
first
evening they're
bit-
having dinner.
Looking back now, that first bit was their homage, I think, to the ending of Invaders from Mars and the ending of Carrie, where they kind of do that weird kind of dream sequence. Because remember, the ending of Invaders from Mars is when the rocket hits. He wakes up and thinks it's a dream, and then we see it land again. And like Carrie, when she goes to the grave and it jumps up, where it's sort of filmed a bit backwards. I think they were trying to do something like that and to be arty, but to be fair, it didn't actually really fit in anywhere.
No, it
Apart
had
from
nothing to.
He then woke up and the treehouse was knocked down.
Yeah. I bet all the other demons are laughing at this one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, bloody Johnny couldn't even take over a little kid. know?
I heard Pinhead went and took his box back from the house because he didn't want to get involved with them. He didn't want no love rocket.
Yeah.
It was but it was enjoyable though. It was a fun frolic. Was it a cinematic masterpiece? Not at all. Was it one of Stephen Dorff's best movies? Probably.
It's certainly his best first film.
His best film debut.
I mean, what was that? Batbeat and Blade? Was he in Blade?
Yeah,
One of the
Blade,
Blades?
Blade 2, wasn't Or was he
He's
first
in,
one?
he's in one of them.
Yeah.
Batbeat was always good. I'm trying to think what else he's done. And the Aerosmith. Obviously, after that, he got sucked back in the hole, then shot up into the sky where he parachuted into the Aerosmith videos.
And the
then-
roller coaster of love instead of a rocket of love.
But they've only been about 4 or 5 years after that.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, early
Did
90s.
a lot
Yeah.
of growing up.
He did a lot of sit-ups.
Yeah. No, I just think, it's a bit of a shame of a wasted screenplay.
I think I agree.
Remake it again. But make it better.
Make it 3D.
Stephen Dorff can
And
be
Alex Winter to direct.
Stephen Dorff can be the inconsiderate, horrible dad.
He could be the demon now.
He probably could. He's been a demon and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a serial killer in something recently, wasn't he? A film of it. I'm sure it was him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good he's still working.
Yeah.
But the things I've seen him and I've liked, but he went for a phase of, there was a little while where he was in everything.
He was going to be the
then
biggest thing ever.
Yeah,
wasn't
and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, I saw him interviewed not so long ago, and he's like, "Well, I've made money. I do what I do projects that interest me, not."
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He's like, I don't want to be a
I
Tom
salute
Cruise
that.
or a. You know, he didn't say that. He said,
I'm an actor.
He's like
No,
the
not even that. I think it's just more. Well, fuck it, I don't have to. So
Yeah.
He's like the Suede of the acting world. They were going to be the biggest thing ever, and then they disappeared. Anyway.
and then they came back 20 years later, and didn't really set the world light.
Just like Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
Apologies, he might have done. I don't
And
know.
the annoying little brother of the guitarist took over television.
Yeah.
Well, I say little, he's 8 foot tall, but in age. Yeah, no, so I've seen worse. I enjoyed it for what it was. Cheesy, yeah.
Very cheesy.
Hmm.
Right, Phil, while I bring up the score spreadsheet thing, because I
like
always
the dog.
forget.
Dog was
I
good.
feel the dog wasn't utilised enough.
See, this was another one of my gripes. So there's no impact with the dog's death
No one
because
cares.
they don't interact with him
But it's a
before
dog.
he's dead.
It's a dog, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but you know, the family dog, especially for a kid that age,
They
is
don't
a-
really care about their kids or the other kids or his kids' best friends, so they probably don't give
yeah.
a shit
It's like
about
the dog dies, and it's like, wow, he was 97 in
Well,
dog
they
years, so
used to
shit
like-
happens.
They used to like the dog, but the dog's mum died, so they weren't allowed to play with it as much as they used to because it might have been screwed up and messed up. And
Yeah, and they could have made a bit more.
yeah,
Of-
because
of
I
that.
thought was 97 going to mean something because he kept saying it was. That came up about 3 times that it was 97 in dog years, but they obviously just reused that bit.
Yeah.
Again, I reckon they had a bit of script that they filmed different scenes with, and then just put them all in.
Potentially.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I was like, well, they've mentioned that 3 times now. 97, maybe that's like a numeral in a minute. And then
Or maybe we should start watching some Hallmark films and see if 97 appears in any of his later directorial.
Average age of the watchers, probably.
see you next Wednesday. The amount of watchers. No, but like you said, though, it doubled at the box office, didn't it?
Yeah.
It done.
But then it's that time period, isn't it? It's, you know, the age of video nasty has been and gone, if you like, but there's an appetite for all of that stuff, especially after the things like
the
Ghoulies
Satanic Panic
and
as well.
Gremlins, etc. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, even Satanic Panic had died off by this point in time.
Not in Canada. They just got it.
They just got it, yeah.
And also, back in those days, it's like they didn't really have as much info about a film before going to see it.
Yeah.
So they
but
probably
no-
thought, "Oh, that's a cool poster.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down to
That's what we
Sparings
did.
and rent that."
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly it.
Exactly how it
They
works.
100%.
sucker you in with the poster.
100%.
Okay, so final thoughts and verdicts. I'll go for Brett first because that makes my life easier to fill the
Okay.
spreadsheet in.
Again, I think if one of my tagline for this that they can put on their poster is that 90 seconds of this movie is the film Goonies wanted to be. 6.
6. Okay.
I think if it was on, I'd probably just leave it on in the background. You know, it's not. Yeah, it's not trash, but
I mean, it's
It's
better than
more
Class of 99.
yeah, I'll give you that.
Mr. Hawkins.
I'm going to give it a 4.
4.
Yeah, it really didn't do anything for me.
No?
As I said, there are a few good ideas, and I would have been more interested to read the original screenplay as opposed to watching this film. I just think it was a real shame, and I think that's the problem. Is in my head, I could see the film it could have been,
Fair enough.
and this wasn't it.
So that's what did you just say? 4.
4.
Okay. So for me, I mean, does it stand up to modern genre standards? No. Is it scary? Not in the slightest. Are the effects a little bit ropey? Yeah, in most parts. And should the dog come back at the end? Yes. I'm with the dog. I'm all for the dog coming back. But other than that, overall, I'd say plot stands up. as does the acting of the three main characters, but it's let down by there's no one dies.
Yeah.
You know, demons are invading this. I'm about to say the planet, invading this house.
No terror.
No one dies. There's no real scares. Basically, I think to enjoy this film, you've got to be either under the age of 15, but old enough to watch that,
yeah.
or put yourself back in that mindset. You know, of it's like a longer Goosebumps episode.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
give
no,
it.
I hear you.
You know, obviously there's a slightly bit more.
I'd say
gore
Goosebumps
in it,
are a
isn't it?
lot better written though.
Yeah,
But
well, this is the thing, and I
Yeah.
think but the actual plot itself is actually quite cool. It's
Yeah.
a good plot, a good idea. It's just it's let down by
Execution.
by the direction,
I
the editing,
even wonder
and
if they just filmed the ending with the dog, and then later on they killed him, and then like, well, he's in the end scene, so don't worry.
no, well, no, because the original script didn't call for the dog to come back. He stayed dead. That was.
No, I just wonder if like
It's like you can't, this is 1980. This is Canada, in 1987, was it? You can't kill a dog. Just can't do it.
Tiffany wouldn't like that.
It's Benji Zacks and the Alien Prince era.
Yeah.
Exactly. So my my verdict is 5 out of 10. Gives it a grand total of 15. So let's go through.
It's number 4.
Oh, I meant to say, yeah. Mine was a 5, but the extra point was for the thrash metal.
Yeah, I've given it an extra point for the thrash metal as well, because I was going to go with 4, but I mean the fact that they put a lot of effort into creating an album sleeve and you know
It had a budget of $5 million. Jesus, of course,
And it doubled it.
yeah.
you know, but that's what I mean. There wasn't a small budget. Of course, they had an album cover.
Yeah, but
I
they
wonder if
even
that-
had a backstory for the band. The band all died in a plane crash shortly after releasing the
That
album.
was the best written bit. The
Yeah.
band. I want to see a film about the band.
Yeah.
Sacrifice and how they rose up the.
They had a cool album as well.
Yeah.
It looked really good. There was booklet pages and the dark book and everything.
Anyway, you carry on filling while I try and find the sort
I'm
button.
trying
again.
for you.
I
So
think-
where does that leave that on the?
So that leaves that I can't even find it now. It's gone so far down. It nestles snugly with Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Masters of the Universe, and then it's The Gate, all on 15. So it's just above Beastmaster, which has 14 points, and just below Mystery Men, which randomly has 15.8. One of us clearly in a funny mood on that day. Oh, that's you, Paul. You put 5, but you gave it 5.8. Helpfully. But then, you know, that levitates it above Masters of the Universe and The Gate and Hear No Evil, See No
And
Evil.
there we go.
And, you know, rightly so, I would say.
Yeah.
Rightly so. So there we have it. That was The Gate. My choice, which I think was mostly based on nostalgia. A bit like you, Paul. I
don't
remember watching
apologise.
it. I just didn't remember
much about it.
much about it and how
That's why we do
bad
these
it was.
podcasts.
That's what we do.
Indeed.
We recommend them. As I say, it's the same with Class of '99.
No,
I
it's not
remembered
the
it.
same as Class of
No, but I
1999.
remembered it. It doesn't just because it's my choice doesn't mean I'm offended if you didn't like it.
This
I
is
wasn't-
true.
I
I mean-
wasn't that keen on it either.
That's
but
fair
I
enough.
remember it, and that's why we explore these cult films to see if they hold up,
God.
or are
He's gearing us up for something, isn't he?
or are they just like fond memories? What's it called? What they were, it gets
Rose-tinted glasses.
No, the misremembered thing where we're in a different timeline. You know,
Oh, the Mandela effect.
Is it a
Maybe
Mandela
in a
effect?
different universe, The Gate was a seminal horror classic.
And Stephen Dorff has now played. He played Forrest Gump and someone with AIDS in that other film, and
Philadelphia.
was on an island with a football.
Yeah. Cool.
But whose choice is it next?
So our spotlight will now turn to a new film, or a new choice, I should say, not a new film.
And just to remind you, Brett, that Damien and I both have the option to veto.
But I think that's a rubbish idea.
Well-
'cause I've never vetoed any of your choices, and I didn't want to go anywhere near Time Bandits. and the other
God, don't
stuff.
stop going on
But
about bloody Time
But
Bandits.
I did it
Just because you don't like the Pythons.
I wanted the challenge of
Okay.
sitting through the film because it's your choice. Again, it's not necessarily like it's not a personal thing.
Okay. Right.
Will be
Anyway,
if you choose
with
another
all that
class of
said and done,
1999.
which film have you chosen for our next spotlight, Mr. Summers?
Jesus shows you the way to the highway 2. He's gonna get it's not. No, we are gonna look at a more modern, terrifying.
Although, to be
horror.
fair, Jesus Shows You to the Highway scored well above what some would consider classics.
Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway was a great film.
Anyway, sorry, Brett, you were saying.
No, I am going to. It's kind of a horror, kind of a comedy, kind of a bit surreal, but I think we're ready for it. We're going to take a trip back, not too far.
Okay.
Well, I say not too far, 2016. So it's quite a while ago now, but in my head it's only,
It's only like
6 months.
Yeah. Yep.
And we are going to explore the horror that is The Greasy Strangler.
Oh, fair enough. I'm up for that because I think I watched it in 2016. I haven't seen it since.
I don't think I've seen it.
It is if you're playing at home.
You're in for a treat.
It is available on Amazon
Even my
Prime.
dad thinks it's great. This is a great film.
Oh, really?
It's on
Yeah.
YouTube,
Oh, okay.
Google, and Amazon Prime. And I'm sure it'll be on other things.
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
sure you
find
can find
around.
it.
Is it free or do I have to rent it?
I think on Amazon Prime you have to rent it, but I say look around. It was on Sky Movies for ages,
Okay.
and it was on one of the other ones. For
Yeah,
a
but
while.
that was quite a while ago.
In
Yeah, but-
2018.
But
Yeah.
but they haven't got many. They don't really get many new ones anymore.
No, that's true.
But there was a new to Sky Movies the other day, and it was like Top Gun. I'm like, that was not the original.
Oh,
It was
right.
like new to Sky Movies.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, cheers. Ooh. Yeah, so The Greasy Strangler, the 2016 classic. I did actually write a full review of it on cultfaction.com if you want to go and see it. Directed by Jim Hosking. And, yeah, if you're playing along at home, The Greasy Strangler. It's a film that I remember at the end of my review, I wrote something along the lines of, whether you liked it or hated it, it has changed your life.
Yeah, I can see that making sense.
Oh,
Cool.
see, it's comments like that that just make me...
We might be in for a good episode next time round. Cool, there you have it. So, as I said earlier, that was our spotlight. Next week, or rather next episode, is going to be The Greasy Strangler. All that's left to do is to start our shutdown procedure. So, as always, you can follow us on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't know, why people just call it X now? That's just, it's been years. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook,
Tickety-tock.
all of the socials. If you want reviews and all the latest news of everything cult-related and a bit of Power Rangers thrown in for good measure, you can go to...
cultfaction.com.
And if you want to get in touch with us but don't want to leave a comment on any of those socials for the public to see, you can email us at...
cultfactionpodcast@mail.com for that personal touch.
Indeed. So in the meantime...
Like and subscribe and all that as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We have got a new subscriber this evening as we're doing this.
that is just...
I nearly shouted
hot
out
off the
earlier
press.
on, but you were deep reading, so I didn't want to get
deep
excited.
reading.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
We're all taken aback by that.
I don't know where to go with deep reading.
No, you were deep into the script you're
Oh, I
talking
see.
about, so I didn't want to interrupt
Fair
your
enough.
flow.
Fair dues. Okay. So, unless anyone else has anything they wish to add to this conversation, I think there's nothing left to do but for us all to say our goodbyes. I'll start over there.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I've been Paul.
See you later. I've been Brett. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe, click, email, follow.
Right.
It's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Superman.
Cheese. Cheese!
See,
We owe pitch chips as chips.
we owe chips. Time.